Hey, we're back with the 1953 Sea King 5 horsepower. I got it running yesterday, as you might have seen, but it wasn't pumping water very good. So I'm going to take the gear case off and then see what else I got to do. I do have the manual for the service manual for the Gale motors. It's an old original, but it's not real specific. I think this has in mind that you might have went to OMC service school. It says to remove the pump assembly, just take out that one screw that's this and that and pull it out, but it's not going to be that easy. I've got all these out already. Thankfully, somebody put the anti-seize on them when they last did this. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna, it's not gonna just come off. I thought you might have to take it's got the neutral clutch, so I knew that was gonna have to come out, but it doesn't. It doesn't tell you to take that out until you get to the water pump section. It says to remove the gear case only, simply remove the 4 hex head cap screws, lock washers connecting the gear case to the pump housing, and pull it off. But when I was just pulling on that there, I could see it pulling on the neutral shift a little bit. So I got to unhook this cable, because when I was pulling on that, I don't know if you can see it, but it was moving. So much for that manual telling me to just take these 4 screws out and simply pull it off. Problem is, how am I ever going to thread that cable back up through there? Well, guess I don't have to worry about that right now, and it's no good the way it is, so let's press ahead. We'll take the screw out. See, the cable's going to have a little kink in it because it's been in that clamp for all those years. Let's set you back down. Yeah, it doesn't tell you to pull that cable clamp off of there, which is kind of weird because I didn't see how it would come off without it. I just wanted to see what the book had to say. Not necessarily prove it wrong, but prove myself wrong more or less. The cable doesn't want to come out of there. It's got that kink in it from all the years that it's been bound in there. Get that out of there. Let's see how I'm ever gonna push a kinked cable up through the. It's got like a, like a brake cable on a motorcycle, where it's got the sleeve, the plastic sleeve or whatever you want to call it, that the cable's sheathed in. I had an old junk one apart before, just kind of looking around at it. And I don't know how I'm ever going to shove it all the way up through all that. First, I got to get this off there. The clamp. There we go. Almost got it. Yep, see, it comes right off. I'll show you what it looks like. There's the pump housing, fine enough, but I got to get that cable all the way back up, all the way through, and pop it out back through the top right there where it comes out. It's quite a long distance to shove that back in there, but there's nothing else that can be done. It has to come out. Get it the rest of the way off and worry about putting it back in later. Wipe my hands off. Yeah, this cable has to go back up through. The other one I had apart was a Hiawatha, and it had a plastic sheath. But that cable's got to be threaded back up through there. You know, that's close to 2 feet of pushing a cable with a kink in it. But like I say, there's nothing else much we can do. It also told me that the water tube was going to stay connected to the pump, but it didn't. I'd rather have it this way. It's more like the other ones that we work on. First, loosen the screw which holds the clutch wire tight in the neutral shift lever and pull it out from the pump housing. Well, it's not in the pump housing. And if you unhook it up there, how's it going to come out down there? I don't know. The wording isn't quite right. It just didn't make any sense to me. Now here's what I don't. There's no fasteners on top of that like we see on a, let's say a CD19 5.5 or something. So what holds that on there? 302318. Let's just see what is this one? No numbers. Huh. All right, so apparently you do have to do something else yet. Apparently you got to pull that up out of there because the fasteners must be underneath. I'm no engineer, but wouldn't it have been a lot easier just to put the fasteners on this side like all the other ones? I'm sure there was a reason. I just couldn't tell you what it was. This one here has a story behind it. This was off a 9.5 turtleback. And somebody had busted off the heads on all 4 of those. So they went ahead and pulled this off, replaced the impeller, and they slid it back down over top, and they had this all caked up with black RTV. And when they set that down on the studs that were still left of the 4 fasteners there, then they welded globs on top of it to keep it from coming off. Can you believe that? I had to grind that off of there. That was on a 9.5. But yeah, it appears to me that we're going to have to figure out how to get the rest of this out of there. Because for whatever reason, the fasteners must be coming up from the bottom, because there's no fasteners showing here. Yeah, they must be on the other side, the heads of the screw heads. So we got to get that out of there. That's the train. Says there's a screw somewhere that you got to take out, but I'm not seeing anything else. That's crazy. I just don't understand why you wouldn't put the fasteners where they're the easiest. Or maybe it just, oh, maybe it just turns a little bit. Maybe. Looking at it, these are some kind of little tabs on there, and if I turn that, I think it's going to pop off. I'll set this down, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I figured. I never have anywhere to set the dang phone. Well, we'll stop this video here, and I'll pick it up back in where when I get it figured out. It was the farthest I've ever had one of these, this style. As far as I've worked on a lot of these with the carburetors and getting them running, but they all pumped water except for this one so far. All right, I'll come back with part 2. Thanks for watching.